Okay, here we are. Sorry, a bit of an issue there. Had the wrong series loaded in, and therefore it was the wrong game. It might have even been the same game. I don't even know where the hell I got that number from. But it clearly was not the one I needed. Here we have WoG on the Legion side, going up against TZP on the Hellborn side, and that makes a heck of a lot more sense now, doesn't it? So, game 2 in this series. And once again, as I was saying before, this is loser bracket, which means WoG is looking to move on, and TZP is in the winner go home mode. So they are going to have to be pulling out all the stops in order to keep themselves alive in Cycle 5 here of the Gold Division. Ophelia and Cthulhuphant will be the first two bans for WoG. So interesting that Legion side taking the Elephant out of the pool, but apparently feeling like they're not going to play it for whatever reason. I believe Crush 1 has played it before. I don't exactly remember if he has, but I assume he's at least familiar with the hero. Crush 1 is their suicide player, so that would be the guy who would probably end up with it. Of course, kind of plays it jungle, even initiator mid, so not out of the question that it would be somebody else, but in all likelihood it would be him. Either way, Swiftblade and Revenant will be the Hellborn side's bans, and you can see Yellow Train throwing out the hashtag respect there, as the Jarl, I believe, Revenant last game was pretty fantastic, and in the end, won't have access to it here. But the Legion side going to start their draft off with Parasite, Kraken, and Torturer. So, solid first three picks here. Not a huge fan of Torturer myself, but other than that, I'm quite a large fan of Parasite and Kraken, and have no problem whatsoever with them getting picked up early on. Torturer, perhaps just figuring, we need a support hero. Torturer is a generally good support hero, so having him in this lineup ain't going to hurt us, and might as well go for it right now. Hellborn side will respond with Magmus, Rhapsody, and we're waiting on their third pick here, but two good ones right off the bat. Magmus, one of the best initiators in the game, and they clearly prefer him over Kraken, as they chose Magmus when they had access to both, but Legion side not going to give them both Magmus and Kraken, which would be very bad. And Hellborn team will finish off their draft with the Tempest, so they're going to go for a jungle versus jungle strat here. The dual support, of course, winning in game 1, and so can't say I'm too surprised to see jungle versus jungle, because that sort of is the meta right now, but dual support definitely showing its power in the previous game, and proving what's, or at least assisting the theory that many have right now, which I am not really sure I'm a part of, but it does seem to be a popular theory that jungle versus, or that jungle heroes are not necessarily the best strat. At least Sync seems to feel that way. I don't know if I agree with them, but that's another conversation for another day. First two bans for Legion will be Silhouette and Ravenar. Hellborn is countered with Bloodhunter and Pharaoh. So Catla main banned Bloodhunter out in 2 games. I believe Jonathan plays a good BH, which is why he's taking that hero out of the pool. But in my opinion, if somebody's going to pick a BH against you, it's like picking a Master of Arms, or an Aluna, or a Drunken Master, or a Torturer, or a Rally. You say thank you, and you move on, because they've done you a favor by picking a hero that's not very good. So, I would say, like, really, that seems like a really huge waste to me to ban a hero. To use a ban on a hero like Bloodhunter, because I think if I could get people to pick Bloodhunter, I probably would. Like, if I were a drafter, I'd be like, if I could choose your hero for you, it might be a Bloodhunter. I don't know, I feel like that hero is kind of terrible. Either way, Legion will finish off their draft with Bubbles, so taking out the Initiator as well as the Ravenar and Silhouette. So 2 short lane options, Ravenar potentially a mid, and so is Bubbles. So some versatility there with the last 2 heroes they banned out. And in general, though, banning heroes for different lanes, and they don't really know where that Magmus is going quite yet. And that's one of the values of Magmus, is could be suicide, could be mid lane, could even be short. We've seen him run in the short lane dual lanes a couple of times to get that fast portal key up, so he can run around and start killing people. Not out of the question whatsoever. And of course the Magmus Tempest combination, even on top of the Rhapsody, all very good. Lots of stuns here in this Hellborn team, and stuns are great. If you don't know what to draft, draft stuns. Stuns are very, very good. The team fight, too, is obviously pretty fantastic for this Hellborn team. Something they had a lot of last game. Didn't go quite as well for them as they would have hoped, but they'll be figuring, I guess it'll do better in game 2, and either it will, or they won't have an opportunity to try to test it again, because they basically have to win here, as I said earlier. Prisoner are going to be the counter pick for the Magnus and sort of for the Tempest as well. This is actually a pretty fantastic pick, I would say, on the Legion side. It's going to stop a couple of the channel ultimates from Rhapsody and Tempest, and potentially even the Magnus if he gets caught in a bad position and tries to channel Eruption while he's being seen. But obviously the Shackle, a fantastic tool against Magnus. Gives vision of him when he's in his Steam Bath, which effectively negates that spell, especially for the laning phase, and it also prevents him from using his Lava Surge. So Prisoner generally considered a fantastic counter to the Magnus. That likely means we'll be seeing a Kraken in the Suicide lane on WoG's side, and they're sort of assuming that Magnus is going to be in the mid, which with the Madman pickup is probably going to be the case. Kraken Suicide isn't the greatest in my opinion. It's still a decent enough pick and a decent enough hero, but he does tend to do a lot better in the mid lane, even when he's going up against a dual lane, than he does in the Suicide role. So in that sense, it's not the greatest, but part of the reason you pick Kraken is because of that versatility. You can run him mid, you can run him short, you can run him long, just like that Magnus. So they're going to take advantage of that a little bit here and choose to run the Prisoner in the middle lane with Dr. Repulsor presumably in the short lane, along with Torture and Kraken as a Suicide player. Parasite's going to get picked up for the Woods, and Gunblade is the last pick for Hellborn team. We've seen Riddlekeeper run this hero a couple of times. I can't say I'm really a fan. In this lineup, it might be better than most because they have a fair bit of lockdown. They've got 3 stuns from the Tempest, Magnus, and Rhapsody, all reliable stuns too in general. Madman will have his barrel roll as well. It's going to slow some people down, and Gunblade, of course, the crippling slugs do some slowing damage, and he's got his ultimate, but I mean, he's got a strong amount of damage. He's sort of weird, though, in his interactions, and a very good Gunblade player can wreak an insane amount of havoc, and a poor Gunblade player feels like he does nothing. So I don't know which of those Count Crapula is. I'm going to assume he's the former, because if he wasn't, they probably wouldn't be picking a Gunblade for him, especially in this situation. But it's a bit of a risky decision. I mean, if they feel like WoG is substantially better than they are, which may in fact be the case, I don't think it's the case, but maybe that is the case, getting an off-the-wall hero like this I think is entirely justified. The only way that a team that's worse... Oh, that's a good point. Yeah. I'll finish this thought and go back to Twitch chat. But the only way a team that's worse mechanically, team-wise, in terms of like their team play, is going to beat a team that's better than them is by outdrafting, picking innovative heroes that they don't see coming and that they can't deal with. And I mean, Gunblade's not something they saw coming. I can pretty much guarantee that. The question, of course, then how well can you play that niche hero? Twitch chat pointing out something intelligent, as once again it's the same guy, iShogun93. Need to have this guy on as a co-caster. Gunblade good against Doctor, as he will apply the restrained mechanism to Dr. Repulsor. Doctor, I believe, was their last pick, so yeah, the Gunblade was response to that. So yeah, that's why they did it. I would guess. I mean, I don't know if that's worth it, to be honest. They already have 3 stuns and a Tempest hole. I don't know if you need the Gunblade ultimate on top of that, and if you want more lockdown, I think there are better heroes to go for against stuff like that. We saw it in the last game. Puppet Master does very well against Dr. Repulsor. That might have just been because he was run as a dual support or second support hero, so he could focus more on the CC tools, but Dr. Repulsor is not a hero I feel like is that hard to shut down. Hellflowers destroy him. Heroes like Puppet, anything with a CC tool mechanism whatsoever will shut him down. Sheepsticks obviously do the same thing. So if they were really that concerned about him, I feel like there were other ways to go that didn't involve picking a Gunblade necessarily. That isn't to say that that's wrong. I mean, it's definitely true. The Gunblade's going to have a pretty solid time against Dr. Repulsor. Just feels like there were other options if they were that concerned about the Doctor. But speaking of him, he will be going up in this bottom lane by himself against the Madman, which is a bit surprising actually, if they choose to run the Torture middle and with this Prisoner up against the Magnus and Rhapsody. And actually, I'm going to heavily disagree with either the situation, the laning decision here, or the pick. If they wanted Torture, they should have sat him bottom against the Madman, who he can zone out very effectively. And if they wanted a mid hero to pair with Prisoner, they should have gotten for something different. Pyromancer was still on the board. I think that would have been a solid pick. Glacius could have worked very well. Magma's actually going to miss his Lava Surge here. We'll see if they counter on anything. There's a Chain Reactions into the hook back, and now we're actually going to be in a lot of trouble. There is no Shackle available because the Legion heroes are both level 1, so nothing they can do about that, but if they had level 2s, then very possible that would have been a kill on the Rhapsody. Unfortunate timing, I suppose. And Rhapsody will be just fine. Top lane, Kraken, going to go against that Gunblade that we were talking about before. And Gunblade in this lane not having the greatest of times. 240 GPM. Kraken currently sitting at 210 gold per minute, so Kraken having just a fine time as a suicide hero, and Gunblade missing some CS, I guess. There's really no other reason that his CS score would be that low. And, you know, compare it to the bottom lane of Dr. Repulsor, who's at 340 now GPM. Was at 350 just a moment ago, but is starting to harass out this Madman pretty damn effectively. That Madman currently does not have stock. He finally gets it back and is going to use it to try to get away, but actually Doctor could catch him out. No, won't be able to do so. Sorry, my cat has shown up and is now being weird. She's doing this thing in the last couple of days where she likes to get inside of my jacket, and it's very, very strange. But I will have a little bit of a co-caster here, and she continues to make her little noises, which make me laugh, but try to ignore the fact that there's a tail hitting me in the face and continue to cast this game. It's not easy. Always good stuff. Oh, middle lane stuff's happening. Am I going to get there fast enough? Yes, I am. Torture is in a lot of trouble as they try to pick off that Magmus, but Torture's going to be the one that falls. And now Prisoner's in a lot of trouble. Actually, as Rhapsody should be able to walk him down with the auto attacks. A couple more come through. Nice Lava Surge. And now get a double tap, actually, from Forgotten One as he manages to pick off both of those kills. He's at 280 gold per minute, because why not? Support hero farming as well as pretty much everybody else on his team, thanks to that double tap. Yeah, Mott's unaware of early game Rhapsody being very tanky. That dance floor adds a ridiculous amount of health. Like, you can man up like crazy with a dance floor. So, clearly things working out so far in the middle lane. As Forgotten One, that's going to be very important for him as well. He's going to have boots, and he'll be able to put down perhaps some aggressive wards, or maybe even get some upgraded boots relatively early thanks to the Bloodlust and that second kill. And, I mean, don't underestimate having the power of early stuff on supports. To be totally honest, I feel like getting Bloodlust and early kills on supports is often even better because your carries can farm, and your supports can still get some gold, get some stuff to help them be useful. They can roam, they can get better vision, keep your carry safer, allow you to get better ganks, that sort of stuff. And I don't know, I'm an advocate for trying to give early kills to supports as opposed to carries who tend to find their farm, you know, through creep kills, even if they don't get that many hero kills. Speaking of that bottom lane, they will catch a Doctor out, and this is what happens. Early boots on Rhapsody, and all of a sudden Jarl's dead. And that's huge too, because Catlam ended up with that kill, so he's at 280 gold per minute all of a sudden. Jarl at 310, that's going to start to go down as he spends some time dead. Catlam should be able to get himself up closer to 300 as well. And this went from being a pretty substantially won lane for this Dr. Repulsor to all of a sudden Madman can certainly hold his own and perhaps even do more. Top lane, we'll see if Gunblade can get out of this. Yeah, he can. Torture looking for the gank, but yep, here's Rhapsody again all of a sudden. And that's going to be a death on the Kraken. Torture shouldn't be able to survive this either. His temps is starting to rotate over. He's trying to hide, but that's not going to happen. Chain reactions go through onto 2, but he's still quite dead. Gunblade going to pick up the double tap. And he's all of a sudden at 330 GPM, so early issues for Hellborn have suddenly been solved by the application of Bloodlust and a double tap to Rhapsody, who has subsequently set up kills in both the bottom and top lanes. So thank you for immediately proving my point, Forgotten One, and honestly, perhaps continuing to be the MVP of this series. 2-0 and 3 now. It's 6 minutes in on this Rhapsody, and just doing a ton of work everywhere, making people sweat, making his presence felt, and definitely justifying his previous billing as one of the surprising and underrated support players in HoN right now. Definitely doing a lot for this TZP team. Anyway, in the middle lane, Rhapsody ultimate again. Gonna stop all sorts of damage onto this Magnus. They drop the dance floor. That's a counter kill onto Mott's, and I think Torture is dead here as well, as there's really no way he can get out of this. Lava Surge's gonna come back up in a second if Rhapsody doesn't just walk him down, and that's what's gonna happen. So, I mean, yeah, pretty much. Like, that's... This Rhapsody, though, is having a hell of a game. So 7-0 hero kill advantage here for the guys on TZP, and... Oh, sorry. That wasn't... I'm sorry, not sorry for you guys. I scared the kitty. Top lane, Kraken is going to be okay. So, all of a sudden, WoG in a bit of an iffy position, and we'll see. Rhapsody gonna find Parasite? No. I forgot there was a Parasite in this game, to be honest with you. I don't think we've seen him do pretty much anything. He hasn't ganked middle, he hasn't ganked bot, to my knowledge, and I don't know what Jonathan is doing on this Parasite. Why is Jonathan playing a Parasite? Very strange. Parasite skill build, yeah, he's not getting Leech. He's Abyssal Skull into Blood Chalice, or Parasite into Abyssal Skull, Blood Chalice. This is not a typical Parasite, and middle lane Mott's dies once again, so sorry about that, but I was focused on how incredibly stupid this Parasite is. The most common criticism of junglers, or the most, one of the things that's usually brought up most about them is, can they gank? Can they be active early on? You usually do not run a jungler that just sits in the woods and farms. And if you want to do that, there are junglers that do it much better than Parasite. Specifically Legionnaire. Warbeast can do it. Hell, put a Wild Soul in the jungle. Anyway, middle lane, release of Kraken will hit on this Tempest. Nice apple damage from Rhapsody once again. Gonna save all the damage. Tempest will counter with his own ultimate. He's still gonna die here. Kraken here looking for the counter kill and has forgotten. Nope, not gonna happen. Yeah, I mean, he might, again, Twitch chat being good here. He might go for the Mach, I don't know, as Jarl falls in the bottom lane. Sorry, I completely missed that. I'm just looking at mid and thinking, hey, maybe stuff's happening. I should rewind and go look at that, but I'm not going to because I'm lazy and a bad person. Like, the Mach build in TMM is extremely annoying because he can just sit in a Hell Cannon and you can't kill him and he does all this freaking burn damage to you. But he needs to be active early on. Like, that's part of what the Parasite does. It's not just about him. It's about helping his other lanes win. And middle lane looks like they will be able to get on this Prisoner, as his ultimate will go through onto Magnus, who actually gets a Steam Bath off. He wasn't really sure if he wanted to try to break the chain or not. No, two-man Lava Surge, very well set up there from Yellow Train. And they get the kill onto Prisoner nonetheless. Looks like Torture going to be falling here as well. Rhapsody's taking a bunch of damage, but it's not going to matter. Coming through, Dr. Repulsor looking to get a counter kill onto this Rhapsody, who's currently at an ultimate warrior streak. Parasite also going to try to chase her down. This Archer not really helping Dr. Repulsor out too much, but it looks like Rhapsody... Really? Going to try to teleport out. No. No. Forgotten One with the plays. Yeah, saying Reversal Red Boots in the puzzle box for Parasite. I wouldn't say it's usually that. I would say it's usually red boots into, or blood chalice into red boots into puzzle box. I don't think most Parasites get Abyssal Skull, and I think there's a good reason for that. It's because it's a 2,000 gold item that delays your puzzle box by, yeah, by a very long time. And I much prefer the puzzle box build over the Abyssal Skull. Abyssal Skull is fine later on. But you look at this Legion team, they're not going to make a huge amount of use of the Abyssal Skull. Anyway, middle lane, Rhapsody could be in trouble as she finally is getting, but she's going to be able to skirt out of there once again. The counter is there from Magnus, and we'll see if they can actually get anything done here. In the background, Parasite continuing to look for this Rhapsody, still does not have Leech and isn't going to find him. Middle lane, they do manage to finish off the Prisoner in the end, and Rhapsody is going to continue to live. Is the Forgotten One just like Jesus or something? Is that Is that what's happening right now? Because he's having a hell of a game and a hell of a series, so sorry to keep heaping praise on that one player, but god damn if he doesn't deserve it. Anyway, the Legion side, Abyssal Skull doesn't do anything for them. Kraken is going to get a couple of right clicks in, and he's going to do some damage for the 15% bonus aura and the lifesteal, so that's okay. Prisoner might get something out of it too. Dr. Repulsor won't get anything out of it, obviously no lifesteal, and most of his damage is magical, so that 15% or that extra bonus damage from his right clicks is not super helpful. And obviously Torture is going to get very little out of it as well. Anyway, they will be able to catch Dr. Repulsor in the bottom lane. They have enough lockdown. Rough Shot not even necessary. Goes through anyway because, hey, might as well throw it and see what happens. But that's game 1 that went massively in favor of WoG. We are seeing the return in game 2 here. TZP with a 13-1 hero kill lead. And they're actually going to defend their middle tower as well. Tempest Ultimate going through onto Prisoner, and he's going to die here. The question is Torch going to go with him? And we'll get the 4-man chain reactions, actually. 2-man Minotaur stun as well. And it's possible Parasite could be falling here. And one more auto attack? Yep, they're going to get the stun out, but I'm not sure if they have enough. Another 3-man chain reaction there. Face up goes through onto Magmus. They're going to drop the ultimate from Gunblade, though. And background, again, Rhapsody doing all the work. Release Kraken is there. Will they be able to kill her? Yes, they will. They also managed to pick off Jonathan on the Parasite in the meantime, thanks to that Rhapsody ultimate. Gunblade is going to fall here, despite the use of it. Nope, he's got the shield up. I think he's still dead. Lava Surge is there. Gunblade going to try to skirt on out of there, but I think Dr. Repulsor, 1 or 2 more auto attacks, and Count Crapula is dead. He should have enough for it. Yep, there it is. Nope, 1 more. Yeah, okay, finally. I keep saying there it is, but Count Crapula is surviving for a lot longer than I thought he would. He still does die in the end. Either way, I think it's pretty clear at this point the Parasite is going for a mock. He's got 1,400 gold saved up. If he was going for anything other than mock, he would have bought something by now. And he's clearly not doing that. So we see how effective this is in a TMM game. It'd be very effective. In a competitive game, he's at 260 GPM because he never ever ganked the lane, which means Doctor is suffering in large part because Parasite was uninvolved. Prisoner is suffering in large part because Parasite was uninvolved. So those are heroes that are looking at Parasite and going, this is a hero that should help me win my lane. And he didn't do that. And now we have a Prisoner at 194 GPM, and we have a Dr. Repulsor at 243 GPM. And that is by no means solely Parasite's fault. A lot of it is also Rhapsody's fault, because she's so goddamn awesome. But, like, this Parasite could have done a lot more in the laning phase to help his initiators do more. And as a consequence, he would have more farm as well, getting some hero picks here and there. He'd be slowing down the enemy team, and like, this is what Parasite is for. This is why he's so good as a jungler anyway. In the background, they'll get the Eruption onto a couple, and they'll be able to finish off Doctor, as that barrel just does way too much damage. Chain Reaction is not going to connect with the Madman, and now Prisoner could be in some trouble. Puts the ultimate down. Rhapsody still has hers available. Release Kraken in the background. Rhapsody can need the angle. Actually, no. Rhapsody ultimate on cooldown for a while, so that's why that didn't happen. I was wondering. It's like, come on, Forgotten One, save your teammate again. What are you even doing? Parasite can continue to try to chase her down, but they're not going to be able to do so. In the background, they do manage to kill off Elgo on the Torturer. And now, Rhapsody with the jukes. She's juking 3 heroes. God damn it! And she's going to dodge the hook, because why not? She's that frickin' pro. Anyway, in the background, they managed to pick off the Prisoner 945. Kraken also going to fall here. It's a hat trick for Cat Lomain, who has a double damage rune. So, good stuff. I basically just want to, like, find the Forgotten One and give him a high 5 right now. I don't know, this is one of the best Rhapsody games I've perhaps ever. This is one of the best Rhapsody games I've seen in a very long time.
The Hellborn have overrun a Legion FOB.
Just saying. It's, this is really damn impressive. Get him. Get him, Rap. Yep, there it is. There it is. Setting up kills. Never dying. It's 5-1 and 11, man. I don't know. This TZP team is not good enough for how good this player is, dude. Anyway, they will catch Kraken as well. Gunblade looking for something. Will drop the crippling slugs on his face, but not doing all that much damage. Prisoner hooked and completely whiff. And Halberd side looking to continue to group up in this middle lane and do something. An ultimate from Magmus available in 10 seconds. So is the Berserk on Madman. Parasite finding some people with his Vagabond leader, and he actually goes for a Soul's Bulwark. Alright, anyway, Tempest will be hit by the ultimate from Prisoner. That's going to stop his ulti. Eruption goes through as well. Rhapsody ultimate stopping all sorts of damage. No, just out of range. That's a bit of a problem. Boots Kraken goes through, and they will be trying to kill Gunblade. Yep, they're going to finish him off as Prisoner dies as well. Steam Bath is there. Crush one on the Kraken actually falls to Cat Lomain, who is playing the Madman. Parasite going to get hit by the Lava Surge. We'll see if he can get out of this. I'm guessing no. There are no creeps to jump into, and he's going to get slowed down by the barrel roll. Couple more auto attack will finish him off. Magnus also looking to finish off his Dr. Vulture. He's trying to get away, but it's not going to be there. Staccato's preventing all of his ability to ludicrous speed. In the end, it is sort of a genocide for the Hellborn side, as they killed that Torturer much earlier, but in the end, doing very, very well for themselves are TZP. And I know I repeat myself in a lot of my phrases that I like, but it's what I do. I can't stop. Aw. A Forgotten One had to place a Rev Ward to kill that. That's Legion Ward of Sight. Speaking of which, the Legion have no vision of the map whatsoever right now. And Lane Ward in middle from Rhapsody. Lane Ward in the aggressive woods from Rhapsody. And Lane Ward at the top from Rhapsody. So lots of ward coverage from this Rhapsody, who is, as I reiterate, the best. And, well, let's get off of Rhapsody for half a second, even though she's got 310 GPM, which is actually higher than anybody on the Legion side. So everybody on the Hellborn side outfarming everybody on the Legion side, and that's usually when things are going very poorly. I was going to get hit by the hook, but not by the shackle, so he just Lava Surges away. No problem whatsoever. Bottom lane, Gunblade's farming, and he's pretty far pushed up, but I don't know if it was an Asian reaction. It's a bit of a slow reaction, to be honest, from the Prisoner. He will get hit by the charge, and he's going to pop his shield as well as his Energizer. Just try to hide in this little cranny right here, and apparently they're not going to go for too much of a chase, so Gunblade will be just fine. And at this point, TZP probably should be looking to do a Kongor and start pushing into high ground. They have a pretty substantial lead in terms of overall resources, and there's no reason why they shouldn't go for something like that. Force a team fight, although Tempest being dead is not going to help that thing. And he will fall here, 48 seconds on the Resurrection. He does have an ultimate available, but why people are getting picked off when they have such a massive advantage doesn't make a lot of sense to me. Kraken being found by the Rhapsody here, doing a lot of damage to him there, but in the meantime, Dr. Pulse is the one they really want. He's going to pop the power supply and try to run away with a ludicrous speed. I think he might actually have this. Stock goes through from Madman. Actually, no, he's got the barrel roll and the Berserk available. And yeah, this is definitely going to be a dead Doctor. The question is, are they going to get anything else out of it? Yep, Lava Surge is what finished him off. And a shorter stun there from Magnus. Perhaps could have gotten the Kraken as well, but chooses not to do so. Kraken going to get bashed out by Madman. Last auto attack goes through, and Cat Lomain 10-0-2 on the Suicide Madman. Have an absolutely fantastic game. He's at 470 GPM, so outfarming even a short lane carry. And I would really like to see a little bit more team fight involvement from this Hellborn team. They've got an Eruption, they've got a Tempest Soul, they have a Rhapsody ultimate. There is no reason why they can't take team fights. And they should take team fights better than the Legion side for that matter. So I don't see too much reason for them to be split farming and to be running off and ganking people. I mean, they do that pretty well too, so and it's working out clearly, so it's not like I can criticize them too much. But like I said in the last game, you know, you get an early lead, what you don't want to do is let the other team back into it, and you prevent that by continuously applying pressure. And that's what they're going to do once again in this bottom lane. We'll see if Doctor can get out of this. Applies a ludicrous speed, and it looks like he will be able to get away. Draws 2 teleports. We'll see if either of them is cancelled. They are not. And Dr. Repulsor more or less out of mana now. Ward of Sight beyond the Legion Tower in base, or in the tier 2 there. We'll spot the rotations, and the Hellborn side know very well that it's there. Or that the heroes are there. They'll just continue to farm out the Legion Woods. And why not? Looking at items here as well. Cat, let me pick up the Thunderclaw, which is the impetus for me talking about items. Interesting. We're providing a lot of attack speed, of course, with that Berserk, getting him even more attack speed, so we'll be dishing out a lot of magic damage thanks to that lightning. And I very much enjoy watching lightning shooting all over the place, so I always approve of the Thunderclaw build, even when it's a stupid item, and here I don't think it's a particularly good item, to be honest. Basher was very nice right off the bat, but I think Shrunken Head could possibly be good. It's good against Doctor, but that's about it. A lot of their other damage is physical. So I can see why he wouldn't necessarily be interested in going for the Shrunken Head, but after that, then you can get the Launch Breastplate, look to counter the Bulwark on the Legion side, and get some more attack speed, because hey, why not? You could go for something like Rift Charge for a damage out of Wingbow even, or you could go for Kongor, which is what they will do with a double damage rune on that Madman, who is actually pick up a token as well, so sells his teleport, and he will be much more difficult to remove from these fights now with that token of life. Tempest going for Push Book into Shrunken Head, which is a little iffy for me considering they have 2 cancels, even 3 cancels. I think that the hook cancels his thing. I know Prisoner Ultimate does, but that lasts long enough that... No, the initial's done. So, with a Prisoner PK and a Kraken PK and a Parasite having decent positioning, they have multiple cancels for even a Shrunken Head Tempest Ultimate. Now, they don't actually have PK on any of those heroes because their farm is pretty terrible, but... in general, I feel like a Portal Key would be a better initiation tool for this Tempest to run up alongside that Magnus. And if not, just go for the straight tanky build. Obviously, the Push Book helpful for that, but Storm Spirit could be good. Astrolabe would have been good. Could have done a little bit more to help his team out, I think, in this context than going for the Shrunken Head, which I feel like is not going to do all that much work. Gunblade has gone for Firebrand for 200 more gold, so we'll see if he ends up going for a Dawnbringer, or a Searing Light, or a Frostburn, or if it's going to be Geometer's Bane. Those are all options here, and the Legion side trying to split push as the Hellborn take their mid-racks, and I guess they're not going to do too much else with that. Shackle going through onto Madman, but he doesn't seem to care too much. With Prisoner, he's going to get absolutely destroyed. Dr. Repulsor will lock down Magnus for a little while, but he's going to pop the Steam Bath. Dust Revelation goes through from Torture, and that's going to catch out a couple of heroes. Kraken, does he have the ultimate? Yeah, it's going to be in the background, actually, as they have no interest in doing anything else. Rhapsody ultimate going to stop a lot of that damage, though, as Magnus falls. Here goes Madman with his Token of Life, starting to go ham, and there goes Prisoner and Dr. Repulsor as he was in the background trying to finish off people. That's not going to go great. Neither is Torture this time. Dr. Repulsor does buy back. He's going to look to finish off this Madman, but of course he's got a token, so doesn't care too much. Token of Life will be used right there, but going to come right back up and will be just fine. Prisoner did use a buyback earlier. I missed when, but he is down a token. And Magnus used one as well, so I don't know when that happened, but I guess it must have been just now? Yeah, I think it was just now. So, Legions, or Helper side looking to finish off these mid-racks, and they will do so. Gunblade getting a little bit aggressive on the heroes, and Madman keeping his attention on the racks will allow them to skirt on out of there. 30-8 hero kill advantage for TZP here. 21.5k gold lead, 23.5k on the experience lead in the background. They do, or in the bottom lane, excuse me, they do manage to pick off Parasite, who saved up 3,600 gold. So if he's going for a mock, it's going to be a very late mock, and it's not going to be particularly effective in this game. And I think this is the reason that we don't see this Parasite build in competitive play. It's not even so much that he didn't farm well. He did farm quite well, in fact. He had 310 GPM, and he basically never ganked. So that's up there in terms of just pure AFK jungle farm. The problem is, it hurt the Dr. Repulsor and the Prisoner Torturer lane in middle. So without Parasite there to back him up, to throw the gank occasionally, it's just like, well, he's not playing to his fullest potential because he's not providing the additional support to his team, and you can see that with the fact that they're suffering as hard as they are. Anyway, not to harp on that too much, and continuing the item train, Magnus going for the Portal Key. Looks like he's grabbing a Shrunken Head too, so I don't understand why they're so bent on getting all these Shrunkens. Rhapsody's picked up the Push Book as well as the Astrolabe. Middle lane Prisoner is in a lot of trouble. Gonna be another kill. 4-count Crapula on that Gunblade, and
Ursa has gone kinetic.
Not bad. Ursa is kinetic. I'm not really sure why they said that. Ursa has gone kinetic. Okay. I don't know what the context for that is. So the Astrolabe goes on to Rhapsody instead of the Tempest, which is something I actually pretty heavily disagree with. I would have seen Portal Key on Rhapsody to be much more valuable. Top lane, as Madman, they're trying to catch him out, but actually doing so much return damage onto the Kraken. The Kraken's like, I actually don't want any part of this, and I'm going to back up. So Torture apparently not able to provide sufficient support, and then we'll just TP on out. Attempted gank in the top lane does not go so well for the guys on WoG. So, I mean, if you look at that Astrolabe and the 400 gold that Rhapsody saved up, and that probably would have been a Portal Key for her, which would have been huge. PK Rhapsody is absolutely fantastic, so I feel like Tempest going for the Astro over the Shrunken Head, and if you're really concerned about badge damage, you can finish up your Shaman's Headdress, maybe in Barrel if you want to. But Rhapsody having the additional initiation and or counter initiation potential with that PK would have been absolutely fantastic. Legion side do take out a mid tower, and Rhapsody or Parasite actually could be in some trouble here as he's in a cannon, but he's gonna get bashed to hell as that bash is physical. And he'll get forced out here. Parasite all of a sudden in a lot of trouble. There's Sakata stun still available. Glacial Blaster also there. And Jonathan taking yet another death. He is Dub Farmer on his team, but really unable to do much of anything with that farm as a result of him being Parasite. In the background, they actually use Eruption to get a couple of kills on Kraken and Torture. And they're going to perhaps turn that into a bot tier 3 tower push. They already have mid-racks, so might as well continue their set and take the buns in bottom as well. Speaking of that dead prisoner, he's just got Steam Boot, Stout Shield, Bottle, and about halfway to his portal key at 27 minutes. So my guess is if he has it, it's not going to be for a while. He's got 12 deaths and 181 GPM, so it's not like he's looking at a PK anytime soon. He kind of needs it, really. Dr. Repulsor, also not much. 2,100 gold saved up, but Steam Boots, Gravelock, and Power Supply Bottle, lots of built-up items, but nothing else. They do take the bot racks, and Legion side counter push with a top tier 2 tower. Dr. Repulsor now trying to run away, but Magnus has a portal key back up in a couple of seconds. A lot of surge available right now. He's going to miss the surge, and Dr. Repulsor will just pour it on out, so he'll be fine. Meanwhile, Kraken is going to eat the Nullfire Blade. The last auto attack from Gunblade will finish him off. So well timed there from Count Crapula. Has a Nullfire Blade, which is not something I talked about. Hook back through onto him, but I think that's going to be a bad decision. Gunblade with that short range ability is going to be able to wreck him. Parasite, actually nice Rhapsody ultimate, saving a lot of damage. Tempest ultimate will catch onto 3, and there goes the CC vote before Gunblade can keep clean people up inside that Tempest ultimate. And I'll give you credit for that quad kill there, Count Crapula. Poor guy. Doesn't get credit for it in the end of the game stats, but TZP taking a very nice Game 2 victory, and that means that we're going to a Game 3. And this is more along the lines, well, okay, the fact that it's 1-1 is more along the lines of what I expected to happen in this series. The WoG crushing Game 1, TZP crushing Game 2 isn't really what I expected to happen in the series, but hey, I guess, you know, iffy laning phases for both sides in the games, and in the games they lost, respectively. And TZP showing that they are not the team that is going to get rolled by WoG, at least not all the time. You look at the hero kill scores: 11-0-6 for Catlaman on the Madman, Count Crapula, 9-2-8, Yellow Trains Magmas, 8-2-14, and my personal favorite, the Forgotten One, 8-1-18 on that hard support, solo support Rhapsody. Not a bad game at all, 342 gold per minute. Those are the games where it is so fun to play support. But we'll see if he has fun continuing to play support, as we are going to be moving to a Game 3 in just a moment.